What's up, everybody? We are live. I'm here actually in one of my rental properties, and I thought I would just come in and get these questions done as I was, just in the neighborhood, grabbing some stuff here and getting it all set up. So, a couple questions came in this week, and let's get right into them. So, first one, outside of Toronto, is there any city where you would recommend to get into the rental market? I really like Hamilton, to be honest with you. I know I'm from there, and maybe a little bit biased, but to be honest, I think there's great value in Hamilton, especially right now. Like they've definitely had a big pullback from February, just like most areas. But Hamilton, I feel like it's kind of amazing that you can still get properties that have an upper and a lower unit, and a lot of those typical Hamilton homes from that time were built with that unit separation. So I think it's amazing that a lot of the houses have that option, and you can retrofit it. You can get approval for a legal basement apartment, and then you get double income in there. I also think from a standpoint of a city, like Hamilton has a pretty solid population, and they're really investing a lot of money into the downtown core when it comes to things like transit and infrastructure. I know Bell Canada's got I think 400 million going in. They're redoing the entire waterfront. They're adding GO train service every single day. So that's why I think from a standpoint of a rental, I like the upside of Hamilton. Obviously, just like everywhere, it depends on which area, but certainly there's some good options there from a standpoint of detached homes that you can still get for good pricing. I do find that in Toronto and Hamilton, so for example, Toronto condo and a Hamilton house, depending on the area, they are similar in price point, but it really just depends. And back in February and a little bit before, when the houses were really going going up much quicker than condos were at that point in time, like the value wasn't quite the same as it is now. So I think that with Hamilton having a little bit more of a pullback than the Toronto core, I think it allows for something possibly in that detached market, which could work as a dual income property ideally. It might also need some work too. So stuff to consider there for sure. In Toronto, what neighborhood would you recommend for a condo, house, or rental unit? Best bang for your buck? Another great question. I would say like in Toronto, I mean, there's so many areas in the city that could be great options. I do think though, like downtown, in my opinion, is uncontested. Like downtown always has a demand of people that want to live in the downtown core. And I think that that's something that sometimes goes without, or that I wouldn't say it flies on the radar, because I think Toronto is Toronto, and there is that element of there. But when you see rental prices, a lot of that is driven by the downtown core. And we're seeing stuff right now, one bedroom units. I mean, everything that's getting listed, to be honest, right now is going in like the $2,600 a month mark for a one bedroom. So I do think that the downtown core is leading the way and paving the path. And a lot of these units in the downtown core are moving quite quickly. So definitely the downtown core. I would say you could still get good properties right now in that 600 range and 650, and they're almost close to cash flowing, depending on the down payment, of course, and things like that. But definitely an option. I would also, like on the East End, we're starting to see some houses, and actually around the city. So here's a stat I pulled yesterday: is that there are there's about 300, not all detached, but freehold properties under the $1 million mark right now in Toronto. Some of them have dual incomes, up and down units. So those options didn't really exist that much 6 months ago, and now around 300 units. And I also saw there are a significant amount of properties that have been in the market for over 60 days. So there are opportunities out there. Really just depends what exactly you're looking for. Next question. Yeah, I feel like this is one that comes in every single week, but what do I feel about the market? Honestly, I mean, for me, I feel like the market is the market, and it's going to ebb and flow as time goes on. I don't really feel like, there's a good or a bad market. It really just depends. Like 6 months ago, buyers didn't really feel like it was a great market, but sellers felt like it was an amazing market. Right now, buyers probably think it's a better market than it was 6 months ago, and sellers probably don't think it's as good of a market. So really it ebbs and flows, and We are in balanced territory now. We're still around 3 months of inventory, which is technically a seller's market, but we're still kind of in balanced territory where you can actually go and shop on properties. We have seen some stuff start moving, but not everything. So there are opportunities out there depending on what you're looking for, where you are in the market. I was listening to Tom Story's podcast, and a great analogy that I was either him or one of his guests said was that the market is kind of like the weather, and there's not really good or bad weather. It just depends on what you think of the weather. So for example, if you're a snowboarder, you might not love these summer months. If you're a swimmer, you might not love the cold months. And I thought that was such a great example that some people love the winter, some people love the summer. There's a mix of everything along the way as well, fall and spring and all that stuff. And I feel like the market is like that. Definitely with the interest rates, there's a lot of uncertainty, and that goes without saying. There's nothing there that's like, there's nothing I could say to that, but I do think that every market presents a different opportunity for somebody. And Daniel Foch, who I listened to their investor podcast, he said it's much better. I saw on Twitter the other day, he wrote, it's much easier to find a deal on the way down than it is on the way up. And that's something that I really think is a great piece of advice. And if you're waiting to get in the market and you're waiting for it to bottom out before you buy, sometimes you don't know when the bottom is before it's already in the rearview mirror. So this is not me saying like you should buy or shouldn't buy. Like that's not where I'm going with this. But, I would say like the time is right when it's right for you. And that's so important to really think about. Like if you're looking to get in the market and you're patient, you have all your ducks in a row, you're financing, you're able to close quickly, that's when you can really search for deals. And there's stuff out there. And then you have your price and you stick to your price. As long as the monthly payment works for you, then you're able to get out there and find something, I think, at a pretty good discount, especially compared to where we were before. In my opinion, I would rather buy at a lower price, even though the interest rates are higher, because the interest rates have a chance to fluctuate. You can't change your purchase price in the future. So that's my 2 cents. Hope everybody has an awesome Wednesday. And any other questions, let me know and I'll tackle them next week.